Why, right? Zyon Grand has actually only one bid for the land. With all this competition, right, how can Zyon Grand stand out? To rent out initially also might be a bit tough also. So welcome to our project analysis video. Today we're going to talk about Zyon Grand. Yeah, so I think before we even dive into the floor plan, right, whether it is suitable for any one of you that's looking at Zyon Grand, I think there are first three main concerns that must be discussed. Yeah, so firstly, is there oversupply in this area over here? For those that's been looking around at River Valley, you already know that this is the third land that is launched, the new launch that's being launched. So the first two is actually River Green as well as Promenade Peak. Yeah, so even after Zyon Grand, right, there's still one more which is River Modern. Yeah, so even after River Modern, there's still one more which is the Parcel C land, which is not named yet because it hasn't been bidded yet. Yeah, so totally they've given 5 plot lands there. So with this oversupply, right, actually affect your rental or even your capital appreciation. So even if you talk about rental, right, then comes to the second point, yeah, which is the service apartment. Yeah, because Zyon Grand has a service apartment inside there. So will this actually even affect your rental, right, in the area even lesser? Because, you know, some of the tenants might actually go to the service apartment instead. Yeah, so because of all these factors above, right, which comes to the third point. Yeah, for those that is already aware, right, Zyon Grand actually only has one bid for the land. Yeah, so what's actually causing the one bid? Yeah, then should you be actually fearful because there's only one bid, or is there like lesser demand in this area? Then because of that, right, there's only one bid. Yeah, so let's dive right into it right now. Okay, just a quick introduction for Zyon Grand. For those that are already very familiar with Zyon Grand, I'll put a timestamp in the YouTube link below, so you can just skip. So this is actually a joint venture. So one of them is actually CDL, then it's in District 3. Then the TOP date will be estimated in 2032. Total 2 blocks, 62 stories. Yeah, so the car park lots, there's actually 595 car park lots. Yeah, so this is actually the developers. Things to highlight about this part over here is that I think the facilities here is actually very nice. So they do actually have a full-fledged tennis court that can act as a pickleball court. So this is not very common in central area or near this area over here, because you see like Promenade Peak, right? They only have a pickleball court. And the nice thing about all this is that they actually have a very functional clubhouses, like for example the game studio, yoga studio, or even media room. Yeah, so these are very nice. Then these are some illustrations on the artist's impression of the place. So here's the highlighted bit. Zyon Grand don't start on level 1, right? Level 1 is actually the commercial side. Then in between, right, not all levels are filled with residential. So in between there are some spaces. For those that haven't seen the show flat, you might think that, oh, is there all shape here? So all these are just patterns along the levels. So they design it like an orchid. Another thing to highlight is on the top there, right, there will be lightings on top. So it's going to be very, very prominent for Zyon Grand. So for the unit mix, it's a little bit different from most of the developments around this area. The 1 and 2 bedders, right, is less than 50%. So 3 bedder and above consists of 58% of the overall development. Yeah, so what this means is that a lot of this, right, is actually factor for own stay elements. Yeah, but of course there's also smaller units for actually renting out. I will feel this is a bit of a plus point because in the development itself, if you're talking about the competition of rentability, right? Yeah, so the competition is actually a lot lesser. Okay, so Zyon Grand is located at Havelock MRT station and it's just 2 stops away to Orchard. Yeah, so I just want to share this because I want to show you where the competitions are. So the competition is where River Green, Promenade Peak, these two is already launched. So there are still some units left for sale. So Zyon Grand is right here at Havelock MRT. Then there's River Modern, which is coming up, and also this one. This is Parcel C. So if all this competition, right, how can Zyon Grand actually stand out? Yeah, because we know that in terms of quantum, right, Zyon Grand will definitely lose out to River Green. River Green starting the 1 bedder is actually 1.17 mil. Zyon Grand is already 1.29 mil. Yeah, then in terms of PSF, right, Promenade Peak will be lower because it's a 2,679 PSF. For Zyon Green, the 1 bedder already starting at 2,738 PSF. So what will happen when Zyon Grand becomes resale in the future? Like, where will the highlight be? The one thing for Zyon Grand is compared to the rest of the projects, how it can stand out probably would actually be its visibility. Yeah, because if you see this street directory, right, all the one in yellow, right, are the main road. Yeah, when a lot of cars drive past, right, they will definitely notice Zyon Grand. So Zyon Grand will be one of the tallest buildings there. At the same time, as mentioned, there will be lightings, right, on top. So at night, it will definitely be very prominent. Yeah, so if you drive past this area here, you would definitely not miss Zyon Grand. How does it actually help you in the demand? Yeah, so just share an example. I think a lot of people heard of this project, right? The Interlace. Every time you drive past the expressway or you drive past around District 4, right, you definitely see this development, right, because of its architectural layout, right? So it's very, very unique. Yeah, so you can see, like, for example, in Interlace itself, right, it's already TOP back in 2013. Very similar, it's an RCR project at District 4. then you can see to date, right, there's 95.48% profitable transactions. Less than 5% of them, right, are unprofitable transactions, which is actually a very good result. There's already 12 years old already since TOP. With visibility, does it actually help with rental? Because another concern would actually be the service apartment. Yeah, because I've heard of clients telling me, say, hey, if service apartment is in the development itself, right, the tenants, right, which are mostly foreigners, they would probably go and rent the service apartment instead of your condo. Yep. So I just did up something like this to share a little bit about the concept, because we have seen this happening before. So of course, for immediate stay and like maybe 1 week or a few days kind of stay, hotel will be the most ideal. Service apartment, maybe it's about 3 months, 1 month or so. Yeah, then of course finally there's condo lah. So condo, of course, you can also stay for 3 months. Yeah, but most of the landlord usually look at 1 year lah. Yeah, so this is the ranking. So in terms of like duration, right, the shortest duration will be the hotel, then service apartment will be the mid-tier, then the condo will be the longest duration, right? So in terms of cost, is the reverse. So cost is the reverse. Hotel will be the most expensive. Then in terms of renting a condo as a residential to stay in, right, will definitely be more cost efficient. Yeah, so we have seen cases like this before. What I'm trying to share is that from service apartment, right, we have seen people staying, let's say for example, stay there for a while because of company business trip. Then let's say for example, the company expands, then they need them to stay a bit longer. Yeah, so it doesn't make sense for them to spend so much money, right, to carry on staying in the service apartment. So usually we have seen cases like this. They actually drop down to stay at a condo instead. This, right, in turn, right, may help in the demand for the condo. May not be always. So once in a while, it might help a little bit. But at the same time, it's also two different segments. So for those that are renting service apartment, right, they are not the kind of target audience, right, that let's say for example, if you buy a condo there, you will be targeting it also to rent out the place, because you intend to rent for long term, at least 1 year. Yeah, so this will not be your profile. Yeah, so it's a different set of profile. But at the same time, right, with this service apartment, right, if these tenants in the end decided to change to a long-term stay, the demand starts to flow in, right, to the condo unit itself. Yeah, so we have seen such cases happening before also. At this point of time, you find the whole video interesting and you like to watch more of this kind of video content, then you click on the like and subscribe button right at the bottom now. Now, it will really help a lot. And my throat just recovered from flu. Yeah, so maybe some BD likes. Yeah. Okay, so back to here. So we talk about visibility. Then we also talk about the service apartment that might help in rental. But with all this, right, why the whole place, right, or the land itself, has still only one bid? And with this one bid, right, developer bid at 1,202 PSF. But now they are selling at 2,700 plus PSF. Yeah, so can we still enter or not? The main reason, right, why is there only one bid, right? Because if you're having a service apartment for the developer, this will be like part of a hotel business already. So developers, how they earn, usually they will get the land, build the land, sell it off. Yeah, so they sell all the units, right? That's where they get their money back in return. If you do things like, for example, service apartment or hotel business, it's going to be a long-term profit. Yeah, you don't get your money back that fast. So with this, right, this is actually not for all developers. Yeah, CDL, they actually done this kind of business before. They actually done hotel business before. So then usually when we see the land bid, right, for example, this kind of 1,200 plus kind of PSF, yeah, which is actually bidded lower than some of the lands around the area there. What this means, right, is that when developer bid that land over here, they bid slightly lower, but they sell at around the price range there. They don't get back their full money, right, because they cannot sell the service apartment, they only can rent out. So this cost is increased a little bit, getting back some of the money first. But the main bulk of it, right, for the service apartment, right, is still going to take very long because they still need to rent out the place and slowly recuperate back. It's always translate to this. Every time a developer bought the land cheaper, doesn't mean that they will sell to consumers cheaper. So there's actually another plot of land which is actually at Thomson. Yeah, so Thomson, this one no bidders because also got a service apartment element. Yeah, so not a lot of developers, right, can wait for the profits to come back. But at the same time, right, personal opinion, I feel that there's also no much bidders, right, because it's an untested ground. Yeah, so in terms of like people renting the service apartment, right, developers may be a bit more hesitant. So what it means is that for the area, at River Valley, right, developers has more confidence that actually this service apartment will do better. This will actually help in terms of the future rental for Zyon Grand. If let's say, for example, if you buy the 1-bedder or 2-bedder there for rent also. So how's the rental there like? So we take Riviera as an example. So because Riviera is actually very new, TOP in 2023, Then also a 99 years development. Yeah, so Zyon Grand is right over here. Riviera, right, is just here only. So it's very, very close in distance. So you can see the Riviera on average, right, the last 2 years, the rental, highest for one bedder, we just take one bedder as an example first. One bedder, right, at 6,200. Lowest, right, at 4,600. The mid-range about 5,002. But we can take 5,000 as a gauge first. Don't need to take too high, we just take 5,000 as a gauge first. If we take 5,000 as a gauge, that means 1 year, right, would actually be 60,000. So if at 60,000 1 year, if Zyon Grand we bought at 1.3 mil, right, the rental yield, right, will actually be 4.6%. Yeah, which is quite decent for this area over here, 4%. Of course, because it's 62 story, as there's only one stack of the one bedder, so the price might move up also. Yeah, so let's say for example, even if we go up to 1.5 mil, we try 1.5 mil, 1.5 mil is exactly 4%. So even if you hit got to 1.5 mil, it's also still 4%. Yeah, which is quite decent. But of course, I think the higher the floor, likely you can command a little bit more in terms of rental, but not too much. But because the rental, the jump, right, per floor level, right, is not huge. So of course, if you're going for rental investment, again, as always, go for the lower quantum, as low as possible. Okay, wait, let me eat pi pa gao first. I really need the pi pa gao. So just a quick break also. Do remember to like and subscribe to this channel, and also can follow us on our Facebook, Instagram, as well as TikTok, at Stevenson, Celine Properties. If you have any questions along the way also, feel free to comment in the comment section below, then we'll try our best to answer the queries also. Yeah, so I think it'll be interesting if you guys also can comment on what kind of topic or what kind of projects you would like to see also. So we are back. So if you're familiar with this area over here, Riviera, right, the one bedder is actually at 560 square feet. Yeah, but that is pre-harmonized. So Zyon Grand, one thing is harmonized. If you want to check out like what's harmonized, pre-harmonized, and how does it actually affect, right, in terms of the value of the property, which you don't have a video, you can click somewhere in the link here. You can click on it and also find out like what is harmonization and how does it actually affect the value of your property. So for Riviera, right, it's 560 square feet compared to Zyon Grand, which is 474 square feet. In terms of rental, right, some might say, but Riviera is actually bigger in size, so the rental, right, definitely be better. Yeah, so okay, we break down the floor plan now. This is Riviera, this is Zyon Grand. So Zyon Grand is the one on the left hand side. Yeah, so broken down into like the living room space, the balcony space, the master bedroom space. Then for Zyon Grand, right, they actually have a study room, which is right here at the corner. Yeah, so in terms of layout wise, quite similar, but Riviera has balcony area there. Yeah, then of course aircon latch. So harmonization, right, one of the things is that aircon latch, right, last time, right, is being counted as a space, but after harmonization, right, it's taken out. So in summary, right, harmonization also help us to utilize the usable space. We are trading here, right, in short, right, for a balcony to a study area. Personally, I really do like having my own storage. If let's say I were to rent a one bedder, because we have seen or rented out one bedders, right, that do not have storage one. For example, like Riviera. So what the tenants usually do, right, is they'll buy, for example, over in the balcony area, those weatherproof kind of shelving or storage, right? Then they start to store the items there. Yeah, so personal opinion, I do prefer a study area because you can act as a storage or even a place to work if you really, really need. Yeah, so in terms of size, when I talk about usable space, I take away the balcony, I take away the aircon latch. So in terms of usable size is about the same. Riviera is 42 square meter, Zyon Grand is 44 square meter. But in terms of their purchase, the price is very, very different already. So Riviera at that point of time, right, the cheapest lowest quantum is being bought at 1.4 mil. Today, Zyon Grand is starting near 1.3 mil or slightly lower than 1.3 mil. Yeah, so these are the price gap. In terms of PSF, right, because this is pre-harmonized, right, so at 2,500 plus PSF, it definitely looks smaller because aircon latch is being added into them. For Zyon Grand, right, harmonized project, right, usually their PSF you'll see a little bit higher because they've taken out space, like for example aircon latch. Yeah, so with all this factor for Riviera, we already seen the floor plan is very similar, but they bought more expensive, right? Easily, how much is this? Let me see. It's easily about 130k more than what Zyon Grand is. So you're buying a new launch unit, which is the lowest starting from. If the rental is about the same as Riviera, your rental yield is definitely a lot better. So that's for the one bedder. Let's dive right into the two bedder. Yeah, so two bedder, we'll start with the 2 bed 1 bath. So 2 bed 1 bath, the first thing you see, right, you notice no balcony area. Yeah, so what this means is that you're not paying for a space that is, I would say, not so usable. Yeah, so in terms of for tenants, right, we realize that the balcony area not so big an issue for them. Yeah, what they want to go for is actually the lower rental yield, the location, as well as the functionality of the place. When they come home, they can actually use up the space. So because of this, right, without the balcony, you're not paying extra, right? So usually for 2 bed 1 bath, we sometimes try to avoid. Yeah, because it's like in between. The rental may not be as good as a 1 bedder, but at the same time, right, it's not so functional for own stay. Yeah, so it's like in between, stuck in the sandwich. But for this, right, because there's no balcony, right, in terms of quantum, you're not paying too much more. So only for this area over here and project, because we know that down here the rental quite strong, I would think that this 2 bed 1 bath might be a good option, yeah, for renting it out also. Next one is a 2 bed 2 bath. 2 bed 2 bath is a traditional layout. Traditional layout means all the rooms are tucked at one side. It's not a dumbbell layout, quite a standard layout. Additional points to highlight is that for the master bedroom, there's a window. Yeah, so I think recently we have seen projects, the toilets start to have windows again, yeah, which is very, very nice, because for a very long period of time, a lot of developments, right, don't have windows in their toilet. But for the common bath, there's still no window. Yeah, so the next one will be 2 plus study. So 2 plus study, dumbbell layout, there's only one kind of layout. So this layout itself, right, good thing is that you can actually do an island top over here. Right, so to reduce the dining space, then you also allow your guests to sit around your kitchen area over here. Alternatively, if let's say, for example, if you want, I feel that this area over here can actually be done up as an enclosable kitchen. Yeah, provided over here at the point of time when they do up, right, there's a vents inside there. So possibility to enclose. Yeah, at the same time, right, because of the dumbbell layout, you actually save on the corridor space. This is in terms of quantum. So that's why the overall 2 bed 1 bath is only 721 square feet, which is an efficient layout. The study room itself also can also act as a storage or a proper decent study room. 3 bed onwards is for on-stay elements. So these layouts don't have the storage area, but in terms of functionality, I feel it's very functional. First one, 818 square feet. So 818 square feet, right, the very first thing you see is that the rooms, right, are all not facing the same direction. What this means is that the amount of corridor walkway, right, space, right, is actually reduced. That's why the layout is actually very efficient at 818 square feet only. Yeah, but at the same time, right, this room over here, bedroom 3, right, don't actually have a window facing behind. Yeah, the window is actually facing to the side, which means that you also get an open view. Yeah, this is something that is very good. Then comes the 3 bedroom deluxe. So 3 bedroom deluxe, right, same thing. One of the bedroom 3 is facing backwards, but now the bedroom 3, the window is actually facing behind. So this is something to take note. So this bedroom 3, the facing behind, is actually facing the back of another block. So the view will not be that good. But this layout, right, has an enclosable kitchen. Yeah. So enclosable kitchen. Then at the same time, the toilets here, right, all have windows. Yeah. So the pros and cons. 818 square feet. The rooms has very nice view. 861 square feet, which is the 3 bedroom deluxe. Bedroom 3, the view may not be so good, but the toilet has windows, then the kitchen also has windows, which is very, very nice. So if you are using bedroom 3 as a study room and don't really spend much time in the room, I think it's quite okay. If you're looking in terms of mass market, like for upgraders, right, these two will probably be your safest entry price for upgraders, because these two layout, right, in terms of functionality, right, might be more acceptable in terms of the quantum as well as the functionality of the layout. So for the 3 bedroom premium, they come with bomb shelter. Yeah, so what's the difference between 1055 square feet as well as 1076 square feet, which is CP1 and CP2, right? For 1076 square feet, space is just a little bit longer. Yeah, so that's where the difference lies. Other than that, in terms of the room size, functionality, like for example, like the kitchen all has windows, even the WC here also have windows. Then the toilet all have windows. Yeah, both layouts have just mirror image. Then for the study room, we can see the study room is linked to the balcony area. Yep, so I think this is very nice layout, because again, in today's market, a bit hard to find a 3-bedder, right, which is actually the landscape kind of layout. Yeah, so the usual one we see will be the previous one, which is all the portrait kind of layout. So portrait kind of layout gives the illusion that the space is not so open sometimes. With this, right, actually I will feel that the balcony space or the living room space, right, would definitely feel a lot brighter. The only small little thing over here, right, would actually be the pillow over here. The pillow over here is actually blocking away the part of the view and the light into the unit itself. Okay, so one more thing to highlight is that for 1055 square feet one, which is stack 7. So stack 7 is over here. So it will be quite close to the service apartment. Just for you to take note if you're considering 1055 square feet. But 40th floor and above, right, should be quite safe. Yeah, so you shouldn't see the service apartment from 40th floor onwards. So we come to the 4-bedroom. So the 4-bedroom has everything and anything that a 4-bedroom I feel should have. Yeah, so we have seen a lot of 4-bedrooms. So some of the 4-bedroom, right, which don't have the private lift. Yeah, then some of them don't have the master junior suite. Some of them don't have the walk-in wardrobe. Yeah, because too compact. Some of them has every of these things, but the living room is portrait style. So this one, the layout, really have everything ready. So you got your utility there. You got your kitchen here, which is an enclosable kitchen. Yeah, you got your dry kitchen here also. Then you got a private lift. Then you have your master junior suite. You have the landscape layout of the whole living room space, which makes it very bright, spacious, and airy lah. You have your walk-in wardrobe. Then you have your windows in all the toilet except for the master junior suite toilet. And I think the most impressive part is that if you see our Ori video previously, right, in order for the bedrooms, right, to be all facing one direction, right, there must be a pro and con. So we compare another development, which is a landscape layout, but one of the bedrooms, right, has to be facing backwards one, facing behind one. It's not facing in front, but down here, the layout, right, all the bedrooms, right, even the living room area, right, all able to face the front. Yeah, which is not so common these days. This 4-bedroom layout has really everything that a 4-bedroom should have lah. The only small thing, if let's say not so fantastic or not so good, right, I would say probably is the master junior toilet lah. If let's say have a window, it would be nice. But because of the way the layout is, right, I don't think it's possible lah, because this one will be another unit over here. So for 1518 square feet, some small little difference is that would be this one has a bathtub over here. Yeah, then the WC is a different orientation, but more or less the same. The dry kitchen area would actually be slightly different because of the whole orientation, but you have everything. All the bedrooms are still facing the same direction, which is facing outwards, together with the living room area, and it's still a landscape layout. So it has everything that a 4-bedroom should have. Small thing to take note is that these two units will only end at level 42. So 42 will be the last floor already. Then comes the 4-bedroom Supreme plus study. This one will start from level 44 onwards. So same thing, it has everything that a 4-bedder should have. This one is the bigger one, so you have the bathtub over here, then you have the extra study space over here. Other than that, same thing, the facing all same faces, same direction. And you have your private lift as well as dry kitchen over here. The 5-bedroom also comes with private lift over here. Same thing, the impressive part is that you still get a landscape living room area. At the same time, all the bedrooms still face outwards. So not the bedroom is actually facing behind or facing the back of a development. Yeah, which is actually very nice. Then you have his and her sink, the bathtub, walk-in wardrobe. So basically it has everything that a 5-bedroom should have also. And this 5-bedroom also is from the higher floor, 44-story onwards. So the last few layouts will actually be the penthouse layout. So the penthouse layout will actually be the top already. So this is to show you the penthouse layout. If you want, you can actually stop this page to understand more about the floor plan. Penthouse layout, right, bedroom 3, right, will actually be tucked behind. But the window, right, for bedroom 3, right, is not facing the back, it's facing to the side. Yeah, so it's still quite nice. The only thing is that it might get unblocked a little bit by the AC latch. Other than that, the rest of the bedrooms has outward facing also. So it's still very decent kind of layout. Okay, and this is another layout of the penthouse. So penthouse only got 2 at Zyon Grand. So that's the end of the project analysis. So if you want to find out more, you can always contact us at 8700-8109. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And do subscribe to our YouTube channel and give a like to the video. So if there's anything that you want to find out more or you want to check it out, you can also PM us or you can drop in the comment section below. And I'll see you again in our next analysis video.